Look, I gotta be honest. I have a confession. I have a super unfair advantage that has allowed me to make over 7 figures online in my business with just one digital product doing a little over 900K. And it's just time for me to fess up and confess. So these are my confessions. Now, it's only going to take me about 5 minutes to break down these 4 things that pretty much make it pretty easy for me to grow my business online. So if you don't have 5 minutes to spare, then by all means, keep on wondering why stuff is hard for you. And that's your right to choose to do things the hard way instead of the easy way. But it all comes down to this. I have a particular set of skills that I've acquired over a long career, skills that make me a nightmare for people in business. You know, that's a take from that movie Taken with Liam Neeson. He said, I have these particular set of skills, you know? Whew. Okay, that might have went over your head, but it does come down to having these 4 skills. And these 4 skills will turn you into the avatar of an entrepreneur, is what I like to call it. And these 4 skills are branding, marketing, sales, and delegation. And the reason why I say that these 4 skills will turn you into what I call the avatar of an entrepreneur, because I came up with this concept while I was watching the cartoon, the Avatar, The Last Airbender. And the avatar, he had 4 elements that he had to master to basically become the ultimate warrior and protector of Earth. And they were earth, air, water, and fire. Well, as an entrepreneur, there's 4 elements that you have to master of branding, marketing, sales, and delegation. But I've acquired these 4 skills on a deeper level because I've actually climbed the 4 ladders of wealth creation, like without a rope or without a net or without anything to catch me if I fall or fail from these ladders of wealth creation. Now, if you're wondering what are the 4 ladders of wealth creation, well, my friend, you're at the right place at the right time, because that is what I'm going to cover in this video. And the first ladder of wealth creation is basically this: time for money. Think about this. When any and everybody starts off, we all have one of 2 things. We either have time or we have money. And typically it goes this way. The people that have time usually don't have much money, and the people that have money usually don't have much time. That's why they pay people for their actual time. So when I was starting off, just like anybody else starting off, I want most people starting off, because everybody doesn't start off with a job, but I did, because I didn't have any money. So I basically sold my time. That's how majority of the population are. We're running around here like hookers, just selling our time for money, or selling our time to somebody that has a job for us for the highest bidder. And there's 2 ways that you make money in exchanging your time for money, and that is by getting a salary or by working an hourly job. Now, I never worked anywhere long enough to whereas I worked my way through the company or to whereas I got a salary position. I always worked hourly. The first job that I had, I basically cleaned parking lots at night. That's how I made money for myself. I had a route and I would clean parking lots on my actual route, and then I would change the garbage cans in the parking lot, whether that be a business, a restaurant, a strip mall. That's what I did. That's how I made money for myself. Did I make much money? No. Only made enough money really just so I could go out to eat and take my girlfriend at the time out on dates. It wasn't much money, but I saved up $1,200 at my hourly job, and then I drove across country to a place that had better opportunities so I could then sell more of my time for a little bit of more money. And I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car for exactly 1 year, and then I worked at a bank for about 1.5 years before I fired my job and went full-time as an entrepreneur. But in these jobs, especially at Enterprise, which I was in something called a management trainee program, and at the bank, and I only worked at the bank so I could learn how money moves and how money flows, I started to pick up and acquire certain skills. At Enterprise, I started to learn the skill of sales, because that was a 100% sales-based job. And the only reason that I worked there was for sales experience, because I thought that I wanted to get into pharmaceutical sales. Now, let me correct that. I never wanted to have a job. I've never had an aspiration to have a job, but I figured if I was going to have a job until I could figure out what I wanted to do for myself as an entrepreneur, why not get a high-paying job? And I thought that pharmaceutical sales was a high-paying job. I'm like, hey, the most people that I know out on the streets where I'm from that's making the most money are drug dealers. Why don't I just turn into a legal drug dealer and sell pharmaceuticals, right? And I had a friend that lived in Ohio, and he was the only person that I personally knew that was in pharmaceutical sales. And he told me to get some sales experience and working at Enterprise Rent-A-Car and getting in this management trainee program. It will be a great opportunity to get sales experience to put on my resume to get a pharmaceutical sales job, right? So while I was working at Enterprise, I was learning sales and I was learning to have conversations with people, and I was working on my communication skills because I'm just constantly all day, every day, nonstop talking to people, because the branch that I worked at happened to be one of the busiest and most productive branches as far as generating revenue for the company in the city that I was in at the time. Same thing when I moved to the bank. I was learning more sales because they wanted me to sell banking products to the customers, and I'm working on my communication skills by talking to people daily as I was a banker at the bank. But you see this ladder here? You see how it's not that tall because there's not much growth to it? That's why it is the first ladder of wealth creation. Because here's the thing about time and money. Time is a limited resource, and money is an infinite resource, right? You don't get all of the time that you want on this planet Earth, but you can get all of the money that you want on this planet Earth. That's why that saying that time is money is complete bullshit. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. And time is also the highest form of currency that you have. If you don't think that your time is a currency, you are highly mistaken, because you spend your time each and every single day, whether you realize it or not. But in order for us to actually scale our income, we have to be able to take our time away from the amount of income that we actually make. That's why most people get capped out. And that's why over 90% of people, 95% of people, damn near 99% of people, they just stay here on this first ladder of wealth creation because they're just simply exchanging their time for money. Even if you get a better paying job, it's always going to be capped, right? But then I elevated and I graduated from the first ladder of wealth creation, and I went to the second level of wealth creation. And this happened when I fired my job. This is owning a service-based business. Now, when you're owning a service-based business, service-based businesses, I'm gonna just be honest with you, they flat out suck. They're terrible. Service-based businesses suck because they are very, 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 very difficult to scale and grow. Not impossible, but very, very difficult. Why? Because typically, when you're on the bottom of just starting out a service-based business, you're still selling your time for money. The only difference is that instead of selling your time to an employer with a job, you're typically selling your time on an hourly basis to a client. But the next level up from that is by charging money for a particular project, or charging a fee on a project basis. And then the next level up from that is where you're managing a team to actually do the service. So this is where the skill stacks starts to happen, and I started to actually stack my skills on top of one another. Because when I was on this first ladder of wealth creation here, I was actually learning to manage a team at my first job at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Actually, before my first job, when I was cleaning parking lots at night, sometimes this guy named Jim that owned the company, he would tell me to manage some of the staff from time to time, right? So I was actually working on management skills even back when I was cleaning the parking lots to get other people on their routes at a certain time so we could all meet up at the last biggest parking lot at the end of the night before daybreak hits to clean these parking lots, right? But at Enterprise, I was in a management trainee program, so they were actually gearing me up to teach me how to manage my own store. But I just was like, yo, just give me my money. I won't be an entrepreneur. I ain't trying to manage y'all stores. Plus, y'all overworking me and underpaying me. The most hours I worked at that place, one week I worked like 72 hours. Insane. But you can see how these skills start to stack on each other. But on a service-based business, there's only one way to scale that, and that would be by getting more team. And getting more team, what happens when you get more team is that your revenue actually decreases as the business increases, your personal revenue. Now, the revenue for the business may increase, but the more team that you're getting, that money's going out. And that's why service-based businesses are very, very, very difficult to scale. But most entrepreneurs, when they're first starting out, they get started into a service-based business because it's just the second ladder of wealth creation, because it's only one step up from selling your time for money to an employer. You're just selling your time for money to a client. But then I graduated from owning a service-based business to productized services. And the reason why you can call these ladders, if you can't see here, you see how this time for money ladder, it's very short. Then the own your service business ladder, it gets a little bit bigger. And now this productized services ladder is a little bit bigger because your income, it can go a little bit higher. Now, starting off, you can have a fixed scope of work for a fixed amount of income. That's how you can start to productize your services. Or the level that I got into was this here, consulting. I started to consult. What I used to offer a service for, I started to consult people about that actual service. I either started to consult them on how they could do the service themselves, or I started to consult people that wanted to do the service, right? And then another level that you can monetize on productizing your services is by having a recurring service. Now, you can do the recurring services yourselves, or you can start to outsource and you can start to hire other people or get employees, and they will do the service recurring for you. Now, recurring, if you're not sure on what that model means, recurring just means that it's something that happens over and over and over and over again, whether that be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, right? It's recurring. And another way that you can monetize productizing your services is a recurring productized service, right? Like I said, I reiterate, that's whether you set up something on a monthly basis. Like the way that I got this model, I was actually paying someone for consulting, and I would meet with him every other Tuesday, and I was paying him a certain amount of dollars to consult with him and for him to teach me certain things twice a month, every other Tuesday, right? I took that model, I'm like, yo, I'm paying this guy this much money and he's making good money, because if I know I'm paying him, and if I know this guy that referred me to him is paying him, I know he has at least 8 people paying him, and I was paying him a nice little amount of money per month, right? But that was a recurring productized service that he was doing. But it still had that term service there, so his income level was still going to be capped based off of the amount of clients that he could consult on that recurring schedule per week or per month. The only way that he could possibly scale that was if he had employees giving the services or giving consultation services that he was doing in person. So there's still going to be a cap on productizing your services. But once I started to productize my services, and like I said, I was mainly doing consulting, then I graduated to the fourth and the highest level or highest ladder of wealth creation, which is selling products. Now, selling products, there's a lot of products that you can sell. And the richest people on the planet all sell products. I repeat, the richest people on the planet all sell products, whether that be Jeff Bezos, to Elon Musk, to Arnold Bernard. If you don't know who he is, he owns Louis Vuitton, Moet, Hennessy, LVHM. And this is the highest level of wealth that you can get to as well, is selling a product. This is what I knew, but I was like, what product should I sell? This is why I went through these ladders of wealth creation, because I was trying to figure this stuff out. So in selling products, like I said, there's a lot of products that you can sell, starting off with the highest, the super highest. Like I said, the richest people on the planet sell products. Well, if we think of who are the richest people on the planet, it's usually a back and forth right now between Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, these types of people, right? Social networks and marketplaces. This is the complete highest. So social network, like I said, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, Instagram, these social media networks, right? But marketplaces would be like a Jeff Bezos with the Amazon, right? Now, I'm not saying that you have to go build some social network or some marketplace. I have no intentions, I have no desires to do anything like this, right? But I'm just letting you know how high that this can go as far as selling products. This is the ultimate product that you can sell. Then you have SaaS, a SaaS product. If you don't know what SaaS stands for, SaaS, S-A-A-S, stands for software as a service. So this is where you take this service that you will productize and you turn that service into an actual software as a service. So think about this. Somebody that has a email software for email marketers, that email software is a SaaS product, right? If somebody is selling information, courses, or whatnot online, they may use something that's called a funnel. ClickFunnels, who happens to be the #1 provider in funnel software for online marketers, Russell Brunson creates ClickFunnels. That is a service that he packaged up and created a software for. So it's software as a service. But I do not recommend you even think about getting started in the SaaS business unless you at least have a cash flow business that's making at least $30,000 a month in cash flow, because a SaaS business is a beast. It is a monster, and it will eat any and everybody alive unless they don't have like a bare minimum of $30,000 per month cash flowing from another business to where they can invest into that SaaS business, right? But then the next level is SaaS plus consulting. So if I'm I'll just use a funnel for digital marketing as an example. So if I was consulting people on building funnels for their digital products or funnels for their digital marketing, and then I created the software that they will house and run their whole business through, I could build a model that has SaaS plus consulting. But like I said, you don't want to even think about creating a SaaS business until you at least have a cash flow business bringing in $30,000 a month of cash flow, positive cash flow for you to dump into and invest into your SaaS business. Now, I'm telling you this because I have friends that are building SaaS businesses right now. They tell me the stuff that they're going through, and I'm like, whoa. And I know people that have tried to build SaaS businesses where they didn't really have any money coming in. It's going to crash and burn. But then another level of this ladder of selling products is physical products. I've sold physical products also. It sucks. You know why it sucks? Because you got to worry about inventory and housing inventory and what I call dead product or dead inventory. Dead inventory is when you have inventory or you have product, but you have not yet sold that product. I call that dead inventory because you got to house that product. You have to hold that product, whether that be in your house, just taking up room, or you renting out some type of space or storage facility, or have that stuff just sitting at a warehouse. You're losing money as those products do not sell. I call that dead inventory. But you have physical products. And then you have products that you put in house on an existing ecosystem already. So a good example of products that are already in an existing ecosystem would be like an app, right? Think about this. Apple, they've already created the App Store. Android, they've already created their App Store, right? So a product that you could sell would be something that goes on the already existing ecosystem of the Apple App Store or the Android App Store, and you would put your app there. Or even if I go to the physical, tangible world and don't just make all this stuff digital, let's say something else will be like a Airbnb, right? Somebody would take their house and they would put it in Airbnb's already existing ecosystem so they could monetize and sell the product of their house or the product of their physical, tangible real estate, right? But then here, digital products, which I love and which what I've done, and like I've said, has made 7 figures online in my business, digital products. I can't think of a better product to sell than a digital product. The reason for this is because you do the work one time and you can literally get paid forever. Especially when you know how to productize your knowledge, put it into a digital product, whether that be an ebook, whether that be some type of digital download, whether that be some type of online course, whether that be some type of membership, right? But these are all digital products to where you do the work one time in creating this stuff, and then you can get paid forever because once it's created, you don't have to create it again. And this is the number one and the best product to sell online. Every single creator that is making a nice amount of income for themselves, they're not making it off of views and AdSense and affiliates and brand partnerships and stuff. They're making it because they're selling their own digital products. And any and everybody, including you, has something within their mind, IP, intellectual property, that somebody else will be willing to pay you to learn how to do. I've helped people sell digital products, literally teaching people how to breathe, something that we do without even thinking. There's a market for that, right? Somebody else that I know, I met them at a mastermind event. They said that they make anywhere between $40,000 and $70,000 per month teaching people how to walk dogs. They package that information up. It's a digital product. But because I've been through these 4 ladders of wealth creation, I have an unfair advantage. That's why I've been able to generate over 7 figures online in my business. But because I've been through it and I've been forged literally like by fire through it, because I've gone through a lot of pain, I'm able to help other entrepreneurs generate numbers like all them that you see on the screen right now. So if you're ready to make more working less from stuff that you already know with a digital product, go ahead and click the link down in the description and join this crowded at the top community. For weekly coaching from myself, all of my exclusive trainings, plus a private community of entrepreneurs, all designed to grow your business online. It's only $47 a month to join right now. That's less than a cup of coffee per day. So click the link down in the description and tap in. And I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. But if I knew what I know now, I probably wouldn't have had to go through all 4 ladders, because I've gone through a lot of pain. Like I say, I've been forged by fire, like a steel forged through fire and then hit with a big old metal hammer and whatnot to get this super sharp, deadly sword. I've been through it. If I knew what I know now, back then, when I didn't know what I know because I didn't know it, I probably wouldn't have gone through all of this. And I probably would have just gotten here to the digital products much faster. But thankfully, I've gone through a lot of the battles, pain, scarring, so you hopefully don't have to go through as much. So go ahead and click the link down in the description if you want to tap into the community, and I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. And go ahead and check out this playlist right here for more strategies on how you can grow your business online that I've learned through the years by going through these 4 ladders of wealth creation. It's crowded at the top.